So one of the challenges that we'll often have is we sometimes feel constrained by a position that we find ourselves in. So one of the things, as you can see the gentleman nodding, Usman is asking, he works on the web design, let's say development side of the business, and he feels constrained by the requirements of the role when it comes to Elementor Pro, WordPress, fixing problems, etc. And this is a challenge that often many of us will face. And first of all, I think that is it a challenge, and reframing it as an opportunity is interesting. So I would say that when it comes to any role that anyone occupies, one of the things that I really only again recently begun to appreciate is Alex Hormozy talks about the concept of more, better, new. So most people, when it comes to their success, always want to go after the new. And Timothy Olson talks about this in The Slight Edge as well. And Grant Cardone, there's actually, it's not just Alex Hormozy, there's a common trope in some of the literature that I've read that most people never fully plumb the depths of the one thing they're working on to see actually what's possible with that thing. Now, there's a decision that you need to make with that. Is like, well, how am I trapped by Elementor Pro and WordPress, or is this an opportunity for me to become so fucking good at WordPress and Elementor Pro that I can deliver outsized returns as against the market? So there's a decision to be made there, because the world will always, to a good degree, value specialists. And there's always that question of, well, how good can you become? And how many different layers and depths are there to it? So a practical example for me that's something I didn't appreciate until recently, and you guys have seen the evidence of it manifesting, was that I didn't really understand how deep we could go using SEO strategies to generate more inquiries. And now we're developing all of these EMDs, exact match domains, so that we can, rather than trying to rank for 100 keywords, let's rank for one keyword, but let's rank position 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so that we get all of the inquiries. So that's an example of me going and doing way more of the same thing to generate a superior result. And there's different variations of that. Then the next thing was, well, why don't we create listicles on Medium and on LinkedIn so that we can appear on Medium and LinkedIn for the same search result? Why don't we pay to be in other people's lists so that when they create lists, we're in there? So more. So I say to you, and I say to anyone, before you consider jumping the ship that you're on, especially if you enjoy it, generally enjoy the ship that you're on, because on any ship that you are the captain of, there's always going to be the galley where people are shitting and you need to sweep the floors. There's no escaping the dog work in any position that you occupy. Every position is going to have some level of shit. So there is the question that only all of you listening can answer, is that, well, can I just go deeper and can I do better? Can I become so good at account management, Temi, that your clients absolutely fucking love you, and even irrespective of the result, they will fight for you because you're so good at account management? So that these are decisions that we all need to make. Okay, Stephen with Roblox development, can I develop games at such a level that my clients will be blown away by what I can produce, and therefore I'll become indispensable? Or should I go and learn several other languages? Okay, and instead do different types of game development. So only you, Usman, can determine whether that's the path. I made the mistake for several years of giving away the sales process and giving away the onboarding process at Pearl Lemon, where I let other people do the sales. And Timothy Olson in The Slight Edge, you should read all of these books, by the way. The Slight Edge, The 10X Rule, 10X is easier than 2X. So The Slight Edge, I think, is by Tim Olson. The 10X Rule is by Grant Cardone. 10X is easier than 2X is by Benjamin Hardy. And then Alex Hormozy talks about more, better, new, but it's a minor concept, to be honest with you. So I wouldn't advocate that. But the other people speak about it with a lot more depth. Timothy Olson says that one of the key things that prevents people from continued success is that as soon as they achieve a little bit of success, They stop doing the very thing that made them successful and they start doing other things. When it's like, bro, you can go so much fucking deeper with the thing that you actually. So, practical, separate example. I got to a stage where I then brought in Eon, our managing director. Then we got several other salespeople. I gave away the sales process. I then read that book, The Slight Edge, and I spoke to my business coach, and she said, well, Deepak, if you think about it, only you have the ability, because of your unique position, to figure out how to ask clients for more money. Because there'll be things that you understand that the team around you will maybe never understand. And maybe that's your superpower. And Temi, you'll see what Eon said in the call yesterday. He'll say that there's things that you perceive with clients that I don't think anyone else will perceive because of your knowledge of the business, which is why also I ask you and Ali to learn as much as you can about the business, because then there'll be things that you perceive that no one else will, because you'll be able to see things that no one else can see because of this expanded view, much like I'm demonstrating now because of the books that I have read. There's things that I can see and connect that other people can't see, because then when you read enough books, you begin to see the patterns and you begin to notice things that seem to be apparent across seemingly different fields, because Grant Cardone is in sales, Tim Olson is in personal development, and then there's many other books, but they're in they're different books, different concepts, but similar patterns. So I then returned to salesman. I read a bunch of new sales books, and then I got to a stage where I did something that I've not seen anyone in the industry do before, which is I began to sell clients and convince them to spend £20,000 a month. I then took our client Dar Global from whatever it was, £3,000 a month, to 12 to £15,000 a month. And I went back to doing the things that I've begun doing that have made me successful, which was selling, but I've begun to understand, wow, there's this whole new layer to it. And Valentina will say to me, well, Deepak, never give that up if that's the superpower. If that's your primary skill, communication, and therefore sales, maybe you're going to be the guy that can show people the path and then they can walk it, because you need to show people how to do a £20,000 sale. And if you're doing that, maybe the next thing on the path is a £50,000 a month sale. Why can't it be possible? But only you can figure it out. So before you jump ship, I invite you to understand how fucking deep can you go with the space that you're in. And then as to finding the time to develop the expertise, that's where I return to that concept of watch my video on the 16-hour workday. Expand your levels of energy, expand your levels of focus, expand your ability to be disciplined, and then you can determine how you want to use the new time that you open up. You may decide that, great, I found another 2 hours a day, I'm going to learn React. Amazing. Depending upon different people's roles, I will let you answer that, but I do just invite you before you leave to consider what's possible. And it's taken me longer than I would have liked to understand. Wow, there's continuous layers and levels to this stuff, which is why I go back to our onboarding calls as well, because there's things that I can upsell on client onboarding calls that I see is part of my gift. So if your gift is WordPress development, then become so fucking good at it that you can do things that no one else can do. Because we have close to 70 WordPress websites. So, and not just us, half the world does, I'm sure. So if you can then say, how can I solve all of our problems that exist with Elementor Pro? Or how can I get rid of Elementor Pro and add this new template that is way better for our services than for SEO and produce the same result? I'm just giving you some examples. That's how you then demonstrate value. And then you might say, I can help this journey of 100 leads a day because I notice in the group, and again, if you ask the right questions, I'll say our mobile performance is crap. We have continual design problems. A lot of people tell me that Elementor CSS is bloated code. And there's SEOs who say, look, you can't use Elementor to get the results that you want. Maybe you'll be the fucking guy who changes everything at Pearl Lemon because you say, I'm going to fucking become a beast at Astra, or I'm going to hard code WordPress templates. And that's going to skyrocket all of our metrics on all. I'm giving you examples, okay? These might be relevant, these might not. But what tends to happen is that we don't often have that expansion mindset with how much we can change using our primary skill. That's what I mean, okay? My primary skill is sales and communication. I could go and do development and learn React or WordPress, but I'm never going to fucking beat a guy like you. So should I learn it? Should I not learn it? I would say that it makes way more sense to become world fucking class at the thing that I'm already very good at, which is also part of the reason why I do these trainings every day, because I want to become world class at fucking communication. And I want to develop the level of ability that any room I walk into, I spend 10 minutes talking to someone and they think, whoa, this guy's different. He knows. And I want to have that level of impact. That's my journey. Okay. So you just need to figure out yours. Cool. Amazing. Thank you.